many of us have been in shoes where we have felt this way. You're at the party, you're at the meeting, you're sitting at the dinner table with people who love you, and yet somehow, underneath all of it, you feel completely alone. Not necessarily overwhelming sadness, not ungrateful, just not quite reached. Like there's a glass between you and everyone else, and you can't figure out how to get through it. If you've ever felt that way and you've never been able to talk about it or understand it, today we're going to talk about why and what it actually means, and most importantly, what we can do about it. Hi, I'm Ashley Mangione, executive functioning coach, former classroom teacher, published author, and a speaker. Welcome to my channel, Make the Connection. You see, loneliness in crowded spaces is one of the most commonly felt and least talked about experiences in our world, especially in the ADHD and executive functioning community. I feel strongly about naming it clearly because it comes up in my practice all the time, and people who are experiencing it are often the least likely to admit it. So we're all looking for connection. Real connection, the kind that makes you feel less alone, requires a specific set of executive functioning skills to be present, and they have to be working simultaneously. You see, working memory allows you to track what someone just said in a conversation, hold it in your mind, connect it to something you know about them, and then respond in a way that shows you are actually listening. When that is challenged, conversations can feel like you're slightly behind, catching words but missing the actual thread. Another executive functioning skill that is impacted is impulse control. This is what allows conversations to breathe. When it is difficult, conversations can feel one-sided, even when that is not the intention by the other person. See, rejection sensitivity dysphoria is also the hypervigilance to social signals and the tendency to read what are neutral expressions and take that as disapproval. Means one awkward moment can overshadow an entire evening. And then we tend to mask. We edit ourselves in real time to seem more acceptable, producing the exact sensation you feel when you're surrounded by people and yet you still feel alone. The version of you that really needs to be present is actually not there at all. But here's something that's incredibly important, because the loneliness that we feel is not evidence that you're unlovable, uninteresting, too much, or not enough. The loneliness is just a signal. Signals are there to tell us information. So what is this one telling us specifically? That the connection you're experiencing in these spaces is not reaching the level of depth and authenticity that your nervous system actually requires. People with ADHD and executive functioning challenges often need more depth from their connections, not less. They are frequently people who feel everything intensely, notice everything acutely, and genuinely want to be known in a full and real way. Surface level interactions are never satisfying for many of us, and also they deplete us of our energy. So the loneliness in the crowd is often the distance between who you're showing up as and who you actually are. It's the gap between the connection that's happening and the connection that's possible. And we all feel it. That's why we feel like we're left out and not fitting in. But this gap is not permanent. It's not your fault, but it is yours to close with the right skills in the right environment and the willingness to put yourself out there, but in a few carefully chosen places. So I want you to look for at least one person that you think you would like to try to go deeper with. Stop trying to feel less alone by being in more rooms with more people. That never works. Choose one relationship to try to focus on, not in a suffocating sort of way, just in an intentional way to get to know someone better so that you can develop a genuine depth, someone that you actually think that would know you, and not the performing version, but the real version. Look around, notice who seems kind, because depth helps eliminate this feeling of loneliness. It's not the amount of people, it's how deep you're willing to go and truly operate as yourself. Number two, and this is one that a lot of people aren't even aware of, stop masking in low stakes environments. Masking has its place. It helps us to feel more comfortable. Sometimes it allows us to fit in different social contexts, but it will never fulfill loneliness. There are obviously professional and social contexts where code switching is appropriate and even necessary. But if you are masking everywhere that you go, all the time with everyone, you are never actually present as yourself. So pick the lowest stakes environment in your life and practice being more of yourself there. Often these are in places where we have not just common interest, but often common values as well. Perhaps this is with one of your closest friends, a family member that you trust, even a support group. Let the real version of you show up somewhere and then see what happens. Here's another thing I want you to really try. Name the loneliness out loud to someone safe. I don't know why at my age I am still amazed by this, but I admire so much a person who is willing to put themselves out there and then to be honest and say, hey, I'm lonely, I need a friend, I just moved here, I just started going to school here, whatever the case may be. It is instantly more connecting when we show up with authenticity. I'm not talking about neediness. I'm just talking about being open and vulnerable and transparent. I'm not also trying to make it sound like this isn't harder than it sounds, because naming it can feel like admitting it, and admitting it oftentimes can feel like weakness. But the moment you say to someone you trust, I sometimes feel alone even when I'm surrounded by people, something shifts. Not because they can fix it all the time, but because you're no longer carrying it completely alone. And that can also be a feeling and the beginning of being actually less alone. I want to say something I believe deeply about the people who feel this most acutely. The capacity for loneliness you carry is proportional to the capacity for connection that you already have. You do not feel this way because you're broken, incapable of love, or fundamentally separate from other people. You feel this way because you want real connection, deeply, urgently, in a way that most people never let themselves want it. That is not a flaw. That is one of the most human things about you. You're not too much. You're not too little. You are someone who needs real connection and has not always had the tools or the circumstances to find it. But those tools exist. The circumstances can be built. You deserve the kind of connection that actually reaches you. And by the way, I work with people every single day of all ages, and I really mean this sincerely. We are walking a planet with lonely, lonely people. And if I could put you all in a room together to just make these connections, if I could just encourage you to get out there, to be honest, to find people with shared interest, and then look even more for depth with those that have shared values. But you don't have to just flip the switch immediately and become a different person. I'm not saying that at all. I want you to at least pick one of the 3 starting points today. Just find one person to try to go deeper with. Try to find that common interest group. Find that new environment. And then be honest and transparent. Not again in a weird or needy way that scares people off, but just in a, hey, I'm looking for more connection. I'm looking to make new friends. I'm new to the area. I'm new to the school. I just started here in this department a little bit ago. Put yourself out there. I think you'll be shocked by the results. And guys, I'm here every Tuesday. I'd love to connect with you. You can find me at my website, www.dynamiclearningconnection.com. You can also find me under Instagram at Dynamic Learning Connection. I read all my messages. I respond to every email. I look forward to seeing you and meeting you at one of those places. And I'll see you next Tuesday.